You know, I had to come out and I rewatched two of the three videos all the way through of Roxanne, and the other one I didn't even watch all the way through because it's just me telling her about some things that we'd gone through, and kind of like an update video for her. And yes, my wife, as I acknowledged, and I put comments down there. Yes, my wife said a few things, small things, but she thought that, and I just heard one of the other things that she said. Everybody took it out of contact or context of it. Excuse me. She thought maybe my old um, you know memory of Roxanne might have had her own life by now, might have been married. She didn't know or whatever, and she just said, she's possibly married or got, you know, something going. And if Roxanne, if you're out here on YouTube and you personally want me to take those videos down, I'll do it for you. If that bothers you that bad. But I don't want to hear from your brother Mike. I don't want to hear from nobody else in your circle. I want you to do it. But I'm gonna tell you, like I told my wife, it was old school memories. They were nice things. Yes, I reached out and wanted to make you an offer. Did I say you would take it? No. I don't know a lot about you, but I know a little bit. I can always say that, I had a good time. Did we go out to dinner? No. Did I know where you live? No. But point is, your brother and all them other people need to leave this alone. You're a grown woman. If you came out nicely and said, "Hey, Derek, this is Roxanne," or if you want to call me up, I'll give you my number, my new number, or my wife's new number. If you want to call us up and ask us nicely, say, "Hey, I don't want your offer. You just take it down." Okay. I'll be fine with that, and I'll give it to you for us in the video. But I will get this out. I don't. I don't need trouble out here. You know. I thought said, "Hey, that's kind of like my wife and her bestie at the time she had. My wife had a bestie, and I, had she been able to bring her down here, she probably would be pretty well, you know, happy and everything would have probably never been out of whack if she got her to come down here with her. But my wife used to live in Ohio, and that person didn't get to come down, so she lost out on that. When my wife tried to reconnect with her, it was uh, touch and go. There's a lot of drama. And like I said back then, I've watched all the videos. They were all good videos. There wasn't anything bad. But I was just telling you, you personally, I know what you look like. I don't know whether you made a YouTube or what. But if you personally want to come out here to where I'm at, I'm not that far from the high school. If you want to come out here, 182 Brown Street, Lot 1, Apartment A, Decatur, Tennessee, 37322. If you want to say this in person, you can say it in person. If you want to call us, text us, whatever. I mean, you're more welcome to do so. If you want this offer, which I've made 3 videos, 4th video, and last one I'm going to do, because I don't want other people taking me the wrong way. Yes, I had a thing for you, and I still do. I still have memories of you. I still like. My wife had said she'd like to get to know you a little bit. I would too. What little I know of you ain't enough. I couldn't, uh, say, say a lot. My wife wanted to know about you a little bit. And I said, I told her what all I know, which is what I put in the videos. You know, like I said, it was almost 20 years ago. And, you know, I think you family's just jealous that other people in your circle and your friends hang around you and have things to do with you. Like I said, you don't have to take any offer that we're offering, but I want to hear it from you. If you don't want it, call us, text us, whatever. Here's the number. My new number, Derek, is 423-615-3020. And like I said, I'll let you personally call me. That's my number. And if you want our offer, like I said, or want to be anything, friends, or anything else, my wife and I are open. We just don't fool around with other married couples and other men, but we wanted to add an extra woman, to our how our thing in our life, be like family to them and have them around, for the rest of the time. This ain't about hurting anybody or making people jealous. It sounds like a lot of your family members must be jealous that they're not getting this attention. Seems like you're pretty popular because one of the videos has got 8 views on it. One of them's got like 3, and one I think had 2 or 3 on it. So right there's almost 20 views, and you ain't even come out and responded to me. So yeah, you're pretty popular, and I'd say you've got girlfriends. You've probably got other people that you hang around slightly or whatever. And like I said, I no is no, but I want to reach out and see what you might be up to, if things have calmed down, if things are going good, and I worry about you. I still think of you. It's not that feller's gonna, be overprotective of anybody or anything. But I did. I had, my wife, and I told her a little bit, like I said, I'll blame calm pride, because that was basically how it got started, you know. And you know this, and my wife will know this. You know it yourself because you're there with me. I never forced anything on you. I told my wife the whole story about how it was we accidentally met. And yes, if I had to redo it all over again, I'd probably just sit back there in the back like I was going to start with. He's the one that came up to me when I first entered that classroom that I had no knowledge of. I had been down there in that special class for, I guess, definitely the first year I was there, my freshman year and sophomore. I think this was my junior year. Yeah, my junior year. Because in my sophomore year, I always had Miss Penrod no matter what. So that was the only time I went outside the realm of getting out. Then they put me in Miss Armour's class. She taught science and stuff like that in her class. And one time they tried to put me in there with one of them other classes, and I walked in, and I can't remember now what it was called, but Mr. Zane, I think it was his last name. I can't remember. Both Shears. It might have been both Shears. I can't remember which one. But anyway, they give me one of those teachers' classes. I walked in, and they said, he asked me. I guess he knew because I was new and on the block. I'd never been in there before, and he he asked me, he said, "Have you ever done this stuff before?" I said, "No." I think it was some kind of math or some other subject of math or something, or some other subject. I wasn't up to speed on it, and he and I talked about it nicely, and he said, "Well," he said, "I'll just go back down there. You you know." I told him I'd probably have zeros anyway, probably because I wouldn't know anybody in his classroom. If they offered to try to help me, it'd been like the blind trying to lead the blind or whatever. And I just, well, I guess you know or don't. I don't remember if I told you, but I had to have a special program that Tom Pride the next year after you graduated. Uh, well, I went back in there the second year and I told him, I said, I'm gonna fail this again and be another zero. He said, "Oh no, it ain't." He said, "I'll make sure of that." He said, he went to school and then bought me a computer and all this stuff. And they put a math program on there. So yeah, I eventually learned it, and I went to his house and he went over about 80 something percent of the test that was going to be on the actual test, and ended up scoring an 82 on it, and I passed it. And I bet if right now, if you or anybody else had tried to tell me that stuff, I bet my memory's probably done about forgot it by now. But anyway, I was just re-going over and seeing what everybody was all up a tizzy about. And, I've put my number out here on this video. So if you want the offer or you don't, you can either come out here or you can call, text, whatever, my number, and you can let me know, and I'll let my wife know. Because I just thought, hey, she's the only one I practically know, because Stephanie, oh God, Stacy, well, hey, at least it had an ST in it. Stacy and Chastity, the other two women or girls at the time, I guess you'd say, at the time, they wasn't with anybody, but they never did anything with me back then. And I have had my time or two where they came in, wanted to do something with me and my wife, and we tried to do it, and it didn't work. So, their stuff didn't, and they had so much going on, and it's just, But no, I've always knew that you were kind of like me in a way, and just didn't throw yourself on nobody, and I didn't throw myself on you or nothing. And when you said, "Hey, I don't want to do the prom thing," I was with you. I didn't want to do it, even though I like music. I like music. My wife knows that. I like all kinds of music. But I just wasn't in, and I've not been to my school reunion either. So, and like I said in the other videos, yeah, I've worked up till the pandemic thing got going and all that crap, And I don't know, I've never talked to you about, how I come out and I'm open-minded. So I don't know that much about you, about what's in your mind, and how you take to open-minded people and all that kind of thing. I mean, like I said, me and my wife had your number at one time, so, about eight or so years ago. But, we just thought, hey, we'd come out and offer, of course, me and my wife would have to, if you were to, take any of it, or if you just, since it's you and I don't know much about you, if it was just doing things, I guess for you, I would make an exception to do things, like some of them wants, but because like I said, it's not like I think we would also take our what they would call a unicorn bestie offer, but I wouldn't think that you would be opposed to not at least wanting to be, where you could come around some part of the time. But I used to work up till, last day I worked was September 10th, 2020. But I worked up here at Hardee's for almost 5 years. Uh, you know, and like I said before, I cleaned the parking lot and did all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I don't plan on working anymore. It's not because I don't want to, but the jobs I've had, most of the time the bosses and stuff gets on my nerves, and they drive me crazy. They make decisions without my knowledge of it. They don't usually invite me in them right away, and they just make decisions, and then they come tell me without giving me the heads up till they done made a decision. The reason I started at Hardee's is because Lisa had, the boss that was there, she knew what she wanted and told me, and I could trust her because she knew what she was doing, and she didn't pull no punches. She didn't go behind your back and make a decision and then come tell you, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're done after this week." You know, she'd tell you. She'd sit down there and work with you. She'd say, "Hey, is this okay if I do this?" And there's just things came up. And there was a thing when President Obama was there having their crisis at the White House, had that government shutdown board. So she took in a nice way. She pulled me in her office, said, "Hey," not physically, but I went into her office. She, told me, he said, "Hey, is this okay if I do this? And I'll put you back on 2 days after it's over or something. I'll cut you down to 1 day a week." I said, "That's fine. As long as I get to do so." And then when she left, because of health issues she had, when Beverly took over, it's like two different people. She wouldn't stick up for me. I know Lisa wouldn't have let that woman down there at over Hardy's, the head honcho. She wouldn't have let that woman run over me like that. And Lisa, for another thing, Lisa would have never had her down there in the first place. Lisa liked to deal with her stuff in person. Even when she had a problem with my wife's, Facebook posts, and I talked to her about it. My wife even, at one point, I remember we got all in there, and we was like, she showed us, and I said, yeah, I said it was sad, but she is just, like I said on the videos, I've watched some of the videos back, and like I said, me and Lisa and my wife's cool, man. We don't see her that much, but I have nothing but good things to say about her because she really expects you to know what you're doing, and all she expects is you to do your job. That was the type of boss she was. She wasn't like these young girls out here always carrying on. And next thing you know, there's somebody in every 5 minutes, or every other time you turn your head, or every other week, I meant to say, or whatever, every month. It seems like somebody's coming in new, and then they all try to get you numbered, and all try to, and I want to explain that. I've had people, and I've worked at jobs before, especially Hardee's. I had people coming up to me wanting to offer me their husband and kids and all that they already had going on. They wanted me and my wife to accept that. I'm not going to get myself in or my wife into anybody else's stuff. If it was a lady by herself, I wouldn't mind, or offering my wife and I wouldn't mind offering our offer to her. But like I said, for Roxanne, for you, if you yourself, not someone else, and not that anybody puts it in there. I probably out there in Mike's probably went home and, I got my feelings hurt. Oh, my panties are all in a wad because Derek, put a video or two out, and I didn't like it. Well, I put him on the mute list, or as most people call it, the block list. So if if you come out nicely and tell me that, hey, I want you offer, or hey, I don't want it, whatever you decide, we'll go with it. And if you want, even though they're good videos and I enjoy it, especially one of them, I put a lot of time in, just going over old memories. That's all it was, and I explained why my wife said a few of those things, but she just, you know, she didn't understand at the time, and. So anyway, if you want something to do with me and my wife's offer, let me know. You can call my number up and tell me what you want to do. And like I said, if you want the whole offer, while I'm on here, let's see. If you want the whole offer and you just don't want to be friends and you want the whole offer, I'll just go ahead and tell you about it. And if anybody else comes out here, Billy Joe, Billy Bob, or anybody else, I'm putting them on the block list. I ain't paying attention to them. I don't want them commenting on my videos. So if y'all are out there in Roxanne, Casson Circle, I don't want to hear from them. My wife don't want to hear from them. I want Roxanne, Casson to show me that she can do this on her own without somebody being up her rear end and come out and say this on her own. Like I said, I just thought it'd be nice to have, and even though, like I said, we graduated a year apart, and oddly enough, had I went up there the first year I was eligible, which would have been 1999, I stayed back a year for the boneheads that I used to know as my friends, and she knows who they were. She met them once, and because they came in there and been all goofy. But here was the offer, and I put this in there. But we bought this, and I bought my wife one similar to this. We went over at Walmart, back when we had the stimulus check, and we got to thinking, one day, that, man, it'd be cool if we had, this somebody extra, since me and my wife, and I don't know how you feel about, you never mistreated me, and I thank you for that, and like I said, you'd always been nice to me. I remember one or two times you give me a piece of candy out of your pocketbook or whatever, being nice. And, but I know I never rode in your car, never been anywhere with you. But I thought, hey, she's about my age. You're about my age, and you're about, and like I told my wife, I seen a picture of you recently as of 2021, I believe you uploaded, and you still look pretty good. Almost the same as I remember you. Almost. I mean, you can tell a little bit difference in the way you look, but I mean, you don't look any different from what and uh, your hair and everything, color of your hair. That's what most people. It's either like a dark red color or some type of brownish color. It's a weird kind of brown. I don't know. I don't know if you dyed it or if it's your natural hair color. I'm guessing it must be your natural hair color, though. But no, it's just something you always smiled, and you never faked anything. When you said something, I knew you meant what you said, and I could tell, most of these people out here that we've seen or comes up or gives my wife rides at home or whatever, it pales in comparison to what I see with you or someone that actually comes in here. We had one from last year, we accidentally got involved in, didn't know there was kids and all this other craziness going on in that one's stuff. She tried to lie and say, oh, I'm homeless, and the whole 9 yards, and stealing stuff from stores and so on, and just a whole bunch of junk. So anyway, but no, I don't. My wife was going up to see a buddy at that one time, but she used to know and somebody she hung around. But anyway, no, I just, me and my wife thought, hey, but that you might like something to do with us or this offer. But basically, we'd like to, if you want the whole offer, we'd like to give you that ring, and like I said, be a part of your family, even if your brother don't like it, I don't care. But if you like it, that's all that matters. If you don't, I respectfully won't mention you again, like I said. But I want you to do it. I've always had some kind of thing for you in a way. And like I said, I remember back before before I ever met my wife, it was hard for me to get over. The fact that I couldn't find you and the fact that I don't know, it just you don't see that much. And I'm sure my wife could probably relate to a thing or two too, that touched her. Like Brittany Benner for her was, Roxanne was for me. Or Connie, Connie was a hard one for me to get over. And I just, I don't tear up. My wife will know. She's lived with me. We're going to be married almost 11 years. But, uh, I don't tear up much, unless it's a song or, somebody I really had something for, some kind of feelings for, or something, or just been around and I enjoyed them. Sometimes, I could do that. But no, I'm saying about you messing up anything or Michael or whatever thinks, you're trying to get with another. Yeah, we're trying to get another lady that would like to be around us and respect us for who we were. And yeah, we'd like to go out and do things. Like I said, a lot of other people do it too, you know, and it's just not as well known because there's a bunch of Christian crackpots and a bunch of politics and a bunch of gossip crap going on. That's usually what's out here in Decatur. Yes, it's not a normal offer, but it is something that I know if there was anybody out there that would want it and wouldn't hurt me or my wife and would always be the person that she always has been, even though I only spent a short while with her, she never seemed to be that person that would turn on you. I mean, she come out with stuff you didn't even have to ask her. She'd come up with some stuff that happened to her, and she would tell you what she wanted you to know. But yeah, we never got to really have that one-on-one conversation, with nobody around type stuff, or nothing. And yeah, like I've mentioned before, yeah, I was the one that for about a year or a year and a half, I carried that with me for a while, and I even resorted to me and my old buddy there at one time. He was trying to help me. I called up there to Meigs County High School at the time because I didn't have nobody. This was like 2004, late 2004, 2005, early 2005, sometime or other. So I called up there, and I was on three-way, but he did. He asked him, and I was like, oh, of course, I expected it. If I thought about it, I thought, well, I should have known that they wouldn't do that, hand out the number. But no, I could have. I didn't know if if your brother. I know your brother come out here. And I don't remember his. It was Michael, and he looked like your last name. But like I said, I want to hear from you. I don't want to, and I don't care if somebody else in your family hears this one of these other videos or this video I'm making right now. But I want them to tell you so you can give us a final answer. And I won't, and then I'll just let it go. If you don't want anything and you're just happy with what you're doing, then that's all right. But I just thought it'd be a neat idea, And like I said, me and my wife hates being in this apartment and hates. we've had a lot of family, like you've had a lot of family problems probably in your life too. We've had some with ours, and we don't fool with ours. We've been with them for over 3 years. But if you took this offer, the whole offer, not just part of it, but if you took the main offer that we're offering, I will tell you, I will make sure that Mike likes it, whether he likes it or not. He's not going to like me too well when I have to jerk a knot in his hiney. So, but I will take up for you if you take this whole offer. If you don't, I'll leave it as is. But he's not going to come out here and be and trying to tell you or me or my wife what to do. If you take this offer and you don't have nobody, not married, no kids or whatever, okay. But yeah, there are different versions of the unicorn. I will explain. So, for Roxanne, you see this, it's for you. But some people take the unicorn thing and make it whatever. Some of them say, well, it's about just having, I'll go ahead and say the worst of things, but no, it's just about having sex mainly all the time, or it's about that whole deal or whatever, or something. And basically, if you have sex with them, they'll stay with you forever or whatever, whenever they want to, or at the whole 9 yards. Then there's some people. It's kind of like the friends for benefits thing. Like I've read this now. That there's like a version of this where if you'll give them benefits, they'll be there, and do the whole thing like staying with you and all that, as long as you give them money and all that type of thing. That kind of goes into the whole. If you'll pay for my gas and go and do those cards, that's kind of where I think that whole thing starts. And they think they're always owed debt. And then our offer is basically this. I wanted somebody, and my wife could be around and be happy with, that would always smile, wouldn't be too much drama. And even though I know you've told a little bit, you didn't overdo it. You didn't come out and back talk nobody. You said something and we talked about it and you moved on. And, back then, even then I can tell, you're not like most people that my wife ends up meeting. They put on fronts for her and they ask, or do stupid stuff. And then she comes in here and tells me about somebody, and she's done this many times. That's why we don't allow nobody to do rides. That's why we don't let nobody take her home anymore, because every time they do, we only live about less than 5 minutes away from downtown. And we had one not long ago that did it, and the most recent ones, and I ended up having to call her and chew her out, because she gave my wife her number. And my wife told her about her deal and her unicorn bestie and the whole 9 yards. And she said, "Oh, I brought you up. Derek told her all about you." She was saying, "Oh, that I met him at blah blah blah." And I think, I know, tell my wife. She said, "Oh, I think I went to school with you. Blah blah blah." Well, if you went to school with me, or if I went to school with you, I'd know, because, like I told my wife, that was just a setup. I would know who I went to school with. I'd have names, just like you, Roxanne. It's been almost 20 years, and I still haven't forgot. So I know if I went to school with somebody I wanted to have something to do with, or if they want to have something to do with me, or my wife, whatever, I would have known if I went to school with somebody. Like I said, I remember most of all my memories in people's names and faces that I've heard on the intercom or seen out in the hallway. But no, you were always one of those that I always had had some type of feeling for in some way or another, but just never been able to catch up with you and just have that nice 10, 15 minutes of time with you, just a few minutes, or this might be the time that if you don't have anything going on and you sit down and said, "Hey, Derek, well, just acknowledge, say, look, I went to school with you. I guess old bonehead, that old Michael or whatever, didn't know that you went to school with me. No, I wasn't trying to put you in something that would hurt you. And my wife wasn't going to be mean to you. She wasn't going to get mad at me. We've had this deal going on almost 5 years. She and I'd like it to end it at any time. And I was thinking, man, yeah, it's a good deal on paper. That's what I'm saying. It's a good deal to put it on paper or it's in your head. You'd like to have something, where you feel like you're important to somebody, like you mean something to somebody. And you're about the only one that I ever, can remember that I had those kind of things in my mind for, or like a Connie, like I said one time, but there was just something about you that stood out, and and I just think a lot of it boils down to your brother's just jealous. I don't know whether he's got somebody or not, but he seems to be kind of jealous that you get a little more attention than he does, and I'm guessing that's what his problem is. He just needs to back out of everybody's business and let the person that it involves and that the subject's about, let them come out and do it. I'm not mad at you. My wife's not mad at you. We had that little hiccup some years ago, almost 8 years ago, whatever it is. So what? Everybody has a little hiccup once in a while. There's a misunderstanding over that bonehead that made a comment on my comment or whatever it was, and I jerked a knot in his tail. Oh well. But that's the thing. If the only thing I'm saying to you is like I am open minded. I know I was all a little bit quiet, and I was a little bit. I don't remember exactly coming out and really getting to know you or letting you know how I was or whatever. I didn't, because at the time I was just at school. It's hard to have that talk when you got 30, 40, 50 people in a classroom, or even just 30 of them. I don't remember how many was in there. Probably wasn't 50, but anyway. So we never really I got to know how each other's, mind worked and how what we was all about. So this would be kind of one of those chances, if you want to take it, and I'm offering it, or we're offering it to you. So if you want it, if you don't, then it's all right. We like I said, we could go on and forget about it, and we'll find something else. We'll find somebody else that we can just start. We'll have to just start over fresh, and be somebody I don't know for sure, but just thought maybe things have changed, maybe things are going better, maybe things are easier for you. Maybe you're in a place that you're in your life where you could have something like me and my wife around, and maybe we could all, sit and watch movies. And yeah, we'd like to get out, like I said, get out of this place, up here and move. If you had the room, we could move in wherever you've got a place or something. I know you've had a car for the longest time, but and stuff. So I don't think you got anything against handicapped people. I mean, you wouldn't treat me as good as you did if you did. I just think maybe it was just wrong time. Timing must be right. When you meet somebody, and like I said, if you'd been left up to me myself, I would have not wandered my way up there. But Tom Pride was just trying to do something nice. And he just thought, because he knew I wasn't with nobody. He knew he knew my grandmother and a little bit, and his wife was named Connie, and he knew I didn't have and he knew I sit on that bus. He used to drive the bus and come pick me up in the handicap bus, and he used to drive it and come pick me up and all that. So me and Kobe. So anyway, he's not doing so good now, so I don't really want but blast him, but he's not been doing good health wise. So, but no, he was one that introduced me to you and everything, and whether your whole family knows about me or not, or what. Like I told in the other videos, I have since then left the old annuals behind. I think I ended up later on throwing them away, but I used to have your picture specifically cut out, put on some stuff. And when I moved and everything, and my wife first met me, she didn't know what all that was about. When she first met me, you just sometimes, like I said, she brings up some of them that she wish she could have down here, and it's just you have these old memories, and sometimes it's people that you'd like to see and do these things with, and have a outward connection. Like I told my wife, it always starts with some kind of outward connection, and it don't have to be about the obvious. I mean, it could just be the gleam in your eye, the smile, the way you talk, the way you move your eyes, maybe your eyes or something, I don't know. But, in our deal, like I said, and I've said this many times, me and my wife, occasionally we'll, do our thing, make out or whatever. That's not a big deal. We don't do it a lot. And it wasn't about that. Although I said, if somebody, whether it was somebody else or you, I said, hey, if you want to have a little fun at our expense in the house or somewhere, I said, we'll do it maybe occasionally, something like that, and have, if you want to join in. But I said, it's not about that. Me and my wife, the last time we had somebody up here, we couldn't even hug her. Couldn't do nothing with her. She'd sit over here in the corner and sit over here in a chair, and she'd just be, like a knot on a log. That one we had up here a year ago. And then, but old Goody, when her little girls come in, all these kids that oh my goodness, she's playing Tickle Me Elmo and all that other junk with them and all this bull. And yet, me and my wife are sitting here like knots on a log, just sitting here having to watch. Wasn't nothing to do. It's miserable. This woman had no money, had no job, had no nothing. You wouldn't believe it if I had to saw it from my own eyes. I wouldn't believe it either. I mean, she looked like pretty much $1 million on the outside, but her mind was so far gone and elsewhere. Wanting to always bring up, stuff that I didn't want to talk about, like her fault for all her bad choices. I sit here and tried to tell her stuff that I would tell anybody, and try to help them. She wanted help, so I tried to help her. But as you know, and as you can tell, it didn't go that way. I thought I was actually going to physically have to get into it with her at one point, but she wised up, thank goodness. But anyway, guys, she's one of them from one of them Hawaii places. She might have fooled my wife for 5 minutes, but she didn't fool me. I always said I should have left her sleeping. I should have said, hey, but I did. I was nice about it. I said, well, if you're just gonna sleep, I said, there's the door. You can go home. And she's like, oh no, I want to be here, and I'll stay up. Kids have been, and so then when I approached her about having, time with her without kids around, just some peace and quiet. She's like, oh, I understand, but this and that. And I'm like, well, my gosh, you don't have to watch them all the dang time grow every time turn around, and it's almost like or something. But anyway, she had this deal where she claimed that she'd been hurt, been raped, whole 9 yards, but yet she let people I reckon go around and make out with her, have her a couple of kids, and yet she wouldn't let nobody else do anything with her hardly. She'd come in here bossing me and my wife around. Oh, you got to let me see my friends. You got to do that. Not even saying nothing to her. Just all of a sudden, this is what I got when I woke her up. And then my wife can speak to this too. I just want to let you know what we kind of been through. So, first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, she's panicking, going into a panic attack over. Oh, somebody's took my medicine. Somebody stole my medicine. She's about to call the police and everything else. And then, and then the next thing you know, she's saying she lost this and lost that. I said, look, are you doing this on purpose or what? I got to the point where I start thinking she's just doing this stuff on purpose, showing out. And she's like, no, I really think I've missed it. I'm like, my gosh, and she claims this guy. She had this one of these girls with her. She claims that like I said, she got raped by him. That's why she wasn't letting him see the child. But yet she's in there talking about him. So, oh, I just want to be friends with him now, and all this stuff. I said, and I told my wife, I said, that's the biggest bunch of bullcrap I ever heard in my life. I said, if you know he's the dad, and if he done something like that to you, then you ought to have had, him without the kids. But, and she should have tried to have been a single mother and not have all that going on. Well, my wife met this person off of how it started with my wife met this person off Facebook. She had forgotten about it. My wife went up to see this buddy of hers. He's no longer around now, but he's passed on since then. But he had picked this woman up off the side of the road, and her name is Susan. I dubbed her the crack whore because that's the only thing she talked about. Pretty much anything that revolved around that or something. And at first I listened to her, and I told my wife, I said, there ain't no reason to beat me or mirror yourself up over the fact that we had to let her go and I had to let her go. I said, I listened to her. I remember listening to her the whole 9 yards, and I remember giving her a hug, to her, hey, everything's gonna be all right. She even said one time, as I recall, that she'd even acknowledged it. She knew that we would be a help to her, and that there wouldn't be no drugs around, no cigarettes or no, and she smoked a little bit, I think. As I recall, but and she drunk maybe once in a while. She had the hardest time believing that why you don't drink? No, I don't drink. I told her that no, I don't drink, and she couldn't. And so she kept going on about that, and I said, "Well, drink Cokes or something or whatever. If you only drink occasional beer, I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it." Just like if somebody smoked a cigarette occasionally, I'm okay with that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be out here talking about Roxanne right now. I knew she smoked because I could smell it on her. Even with the perfume on, you can still smell. You person don't have to smoke a cigarette physically to know what's going on. And she acknowledged. She said, "Yeah, I smoke a little bit, and stuff, and But so I knew that much about her." And that was before she spoke to me really. And first thing I remember she said was hi or something, and we told each other her name. She said she preferred Roxy instead of Roxanne, but That's her nickname that she came up with. She just shortens it. A lot of people shorten everybody's name. um, but some of them I like the longer one better in a way. Anyway, but no, we just had a lot of that going on, and my wife was trying to be nice and help that person out, and I got to meeting her mom and dad. Her mom and dad was cool. I never had no problem with them. Actually, they were easy. Her brother was easy to get along with and everything, but she just totally, um, she told my wife a bunch of lies and acted totally different from what she was up there. And what ended up her coming down here is my wife, I like to say, she called my wife called me, and I didn't know much about her. And at one time, I think my wife had said something about this person had told her that she had kids, but she forgot. She had about 5,000 people on her page, her old her old page that she had for so long. So, like I said, they ain't no telling all she had on there. She could have had anybody from Japan or who knows what. But in the mixture of all this, she had a few from Decatur. She had some. Cause there was a lot of them I couldn't pronounce. There was people sent her stuff. I couldn't pronounce her name for nothing. They could have been white, black, purple, green. I don't know. But these people come out and then they say I'm bossing them around. Well, I go by the way I go by, the way I was raised. And if you don't do right, then I'll tell you if I don't like you. And if you don't have if there's no way to compromise, I have to be done with the person. I'm not the most religious person as a person already knows most of the time, and people that don't, I don't usually sit around and get to talk to them much. But no, I just want to kind of come out here and let Roxanne know that if you like any of this, your family will have to get used to it. If you something you want, if you don't want it, let us know. But anyway, I hope everything goes good with you. At least, 'cause I don't have any hard feelings towards you or nothing. I don't wish any death upon you or anything to happen to your family, even though one of your family tried to come out here and make an ass out of himself. But, uh, like I said, I've always thought of you as a good person, even though I didn't know you inside and out yet, and and all that. But if you want this offer, we can start there. And at least I do have something to start on. At least I have met you. It's not a ghost, But anyway, hopefully something good come out of it. It's been a while. And maybe everything can get somewhere with it, and catch up on some stuff and see how everything is. But anyway, we'll see you later. Bye.